Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Pittsylvania County Planning Commission meeting, April the 2nd, 2019. Roll call, Ms. Henderson,
Here.
Ms. Meese,
Present.
Mr. Dudley,
Present.
Mr. Stowe,
Present.
Mr. Haymore,
Present.
Mr. Horn,
Present.
Dr. Miller,
Present.
and myself. Record show 8 present, 0 absent. Will everybody please stand and remain standing as we'll have a moment of silence and then the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. All citizens of the United States will join me in pledging allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. No one has signed up. Is any citizen here wish to address the commissioners on anything other than what's on the agenda? Hearing none, we'll move on. The approval of the agenda. A motion for that, please.
So moved.
Motion by Dr. Miller, second by Mr. Stowe. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion's passed, 8-4, 0 against. Approval of the minutes, March 5th, 2019.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as read.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Dudley, second by Mr. Stowe. The minutes be approved as presented in the package. All fall, raise your right hand. Motion's passed, 8-4, 0 against. The chairman's report. I have a card to the Planning Commission. The family of Estelle Barker acknowledges grateful appreciation, your kind expression of sympathy. Thank you for everything. And it's from Tim and Kim Barber. Thank you. At 7:03, public hearing is open. Ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to Article 5, Division 7 of the Pittsylvania County Zoning Ordinance, we, the Planning Commission, have been empowered to hear and decide specific applications in support of said ordinance and to make recommendations to the Board of Supervisors or the Board of Zoning Appeals. In accomplishing this important task, we are charged with promoting the health, safety, and general welfare of the citizens of Pittsylvania County. We must ensure that all our decisions and recommendations be directed to these goals and that each be consistent with the environment, the comprehensive plan, and its citizens of Pittsylvania County and its posterity. Anyone here to speak to the board regarding zoning cases will be limited to 3 minutes. Case R19-012 is open to public hearing at 7:04. Ms. Hayes.
Case R19-012, Randy and Nikki Owen have petitioned to rezone 15.59 acres located on Meadowview Drive and on River Ridge Road in the Westover Election District from R1 Residential Suburban Subdivision District to A1 Agricultural District for agricultural purposes. Once the property is rezoned to A1, all uses listed under Section 35-178 are permitted. The staff summary is enclosed in the board packet. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Owen is here to represent the petition. He has also submitted a proffer that if the property is rezoned to A1 and if it's ever sold, he will petition to rezone it back to R1. So I'll pass that around. And also, it was some confusion. The original tract was 32 acres. We had to notify all the way around that 32 acres, but only 15.5 acres is petitioned to be rezoned. his lot that he's gonna build the house on will remain R1. So I'll pass those around.
Thank you. Mr. Owen, will you come forward, please? Good evening.
How you doing?
Do you have anything you'd like to present to the commissioners other than what Ms. Hayes has already presented?
Sure. I've tried to make my rounds in the neighborhood to catch up. I know there's a petition against me. That petition was started. It's a lot of false information. It was before I got a chance to get around and explain to everybody what I was trying to do. If anyone's here that I have not spoken with, I do not own a chicken farm. I do not own a logging company. I have not been buying land in the county for the last few years to use for profit. There's a lot of stuff going around that way. Like I said, the petition was started on false information. One of the ladies that was pushing the petition, I had a meeting with her and her husband. Once I was able to explain, get the truth out, she actually withdrew her petition and took her time to call each individual that was on the list and explain how things were going. This hit me Friday. I have not had a chance to get around to everybody from Friday to today. Like Ms. Hayes said at the beginning, a few of y'all's concerns were what would happen if I ever sold the property. How could I guarantee you that nobody would come in and use the land for whatever they wanted, except for what I had it intended for? I signed a proffer today that says if we sell the land, we'll petition to change the land right back to R1, the way it stands today. That's the only, until then, my word was the only thing I could give you. We're trying to build our forever home to raise our family. We don't have any plans of ever moving from the house. So my word was all I had to offer to the people about that. They don't know me. They've never met me except, through this process. So I took those steps to try to show that I was serious with what I meant. There's a lot of A1. The actual land that I'm trying to get has more road frontage on River Ridge than it does on Meadowview. There's a lot of A1 in the area directly across the street. There's a substantial amount of land zoned A1. There is A1 property on Meadowview. I have Mr. and Ms. Harlow, Dyer and Clements on the Meadowview already. I think there's one more. A lot of people were told that pesticides and fertilizers will be under heavy usage. Poison the water supply, things of that nature. That's another misinformation. A lot of the people that signed a petition were never told that I was actually going to live on the property. They thought I was going to come in and use the property for whatever I needed, and then not be involved over there in the area. I bought 19.223 acres. I sectioned off 3.5 acres on the front side. That's where I'm going to build a house. The other 15 acres that I'm petitioning to change to A1 is directly behind that. And that's where I'm going to live. A lot of people are concerned about property value. Obviously, if I'm building a house and living there, I'm not going to do anything to harm property value. I've been in contact with Chatham. Just simply changing the land to A1 does not affect anyone's property value from what I've been told. So that's another concern of the people on the petition.
Mr. Owen,
Yes, sir.
can you give us any idea as to what you intend to use the property for?
Yes, sir. The 15 acres would be used for planted pines. I've got the property, looking for a way for the property to make some money. So I've got 3 daughters. Planted pines takes roughly 15 years, give or take, to mature. My daughters are 6, 3, and 8 months. 15 years from now, I'm going to be right in the middle of college, weddings, things of that nature. If I harvest the wood at that time, that's a financial bump for me when I will need it the most. If I replant at that time, the next 15 years, the first 15 years puts me at 50. I'm 34 now. If I build a house, 35, puts me at 50 with the girls in the colleges and things of that nature. If I can get 2 cuts on it, the next year puts me at 65. If I build a house at 35, 30-year mortgage, the timing and the math works. Any other questions?
Good man.
Any other, Mr. Stowe?
15 years is not gonna make a log.
What I've looked at is, 15 to 20 is for, the pine trees to mature enough to harvest.
For pulpwood.
Yes, sir.
Pulpwood.
No.
You got 50 times a year, pulpwood ain't bringing that too much. But maybe bring more. It's gonna take, I figure it's gonna be 20 to 25 years to be able to harvest it.
And even if it's 20 or 25, it's still a way to, to make some extra money on it. It's, the land's there. I mean, like I said, I'm trying for, come up with ways for financial help at a time when I'm gonna be stretched and need it. I'm just trying to plan, for down the road.
I appreciate that. You don't have to rezone it, plant trees on it.
No, sir, I'll run into problems when it comes harvest time to be able to sell the land, sell the trees. Another reason is I'd love to put a pond on the land behind the house. I know it's a lot of red tape with that. It's already a difficult process. If the land's in A1, I figured it would ease a lot of that to be able to do.
Any question? Any more? If you'll have a seat at the front, I do have people signed up who wants to speak, and then you'll get to come back to rebuttal.
Sure.
So, thank you, sir. Catherine Hamlet, did I pronounce that correct?
Yes.
Please come forward, please. Good evening.
Good evening, and how are you?
Just fine. Well,
Good to be here. Okay. Now,
remember
Randy
you
Thomas
have
Owen.
You have 3 minutes.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I do have a petition, and I have roughly 40 signatures on here. Nothing states in here in the petition that we said anything about him pig farming or anything else. The only thing that is stated in here is that oppose the rezoning application for number R19012, application submitted by Randy Thomas Owen and Nikki Robinson Owen, property located on State Road 872, Meadowview Drive, and the property owned by Randy Owen and Nikki Owen on State Road 873, River Ridge, namely part of the GPN, so forth and so on, and the acreage. We are stating that we are opposed to the tree farm. We have been zoned as A1 forever. I mean, not A1, I'm sorry. For residential forever. And he wants to change it to A1, come in and disturb our livelihood that we have been used to. I have lived in that neighborhood since 1989. I have built 2 houses there, one in West Ridge and one where I'm presently at now. We are concerned about what will happen in our neighborhood. We're concerned. We have no problem if he plants trees. We have no problem whatsoever. He can plant all the trees he wants to. No problem whatsoever. It's basically the way that he has went about it. I did not know that he was going to put a home or anything else, that he had subdivided this for him to put a house on in the residential area, that he did not want rezoned to agriculture. I did not find this out until last night when he approached me and talked with me. He had plenty time through the weeks to do this. Our petition says nothing other than we object, and we mainly object, other than the pine trees, to what can go in as being zoned as agriculture. Under the
May I
district
interrupt?
agriculture,
Could you summarize your time, Ms. Keaton?
once the property is rezoned to A1, all uses listed under section 35 through 178 are permitted. We definitely object to that. due to the fact with it being under agriculture, almost anything can be put on it and everything. And we do not want that in our residential area.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good time.
I'll take the
Take Ms.
Okay,
Hammond.
thank you.
Any questions for her?
I do. I do.
Ms. Hammond?
And actually, it's to him. It's not for her, it's to the property owner. I'll wait.
I'm sorry.
I'll wait. No, that's for the property owner.
Okay.
The questions for the property owner?
Yes.
Any questions for Ms. Hammond? Mr. Hammond?
Yeah, Ms. Hammond, are you saying that you're not opposed to the tree planting?
No, I'm not opposed to the trees being planted. I'm opposed to the rezoning to agriculture, from residential to agriculture.
Did you hear his proffer?
Yes, but his proffer said, if I'm not mistaken, that if he sold, the proffer would be, it would go back to residential. What is going to protect us right now, if it goes to agriculture, he can put anything on there. I would like the proffer to also state that he cannot put any farm animals, no mobile homes, no buildings of any sort unless, it's like a garage, something of that nature. But to protect our community, we definitely we do not need and we do not want anything. I mean, we would just like for it to stay completely residential. But I have we have no objections to him planting the pine trees, whatsoever. It's that what else could come in when it goes to agriculture. I mean, just think about it. It would be devastating to our community. Now, if he puts a proffer in there, as far as I am concerned, if he puts a proffer in there that he's not going to bring a bunch of farm animals in, no mobile homes, no trailers, no junky cars, under that, if he only plants pine trees on that, I have no problem with it. But it has to be profit in.
I understand.
Ms. Meese?
Let me ask you something. You said 40 signatures on the petition.
It's roughly. I didn't.
Have you talked to them since you talked to Mr. Owen last night?
No, because I have talked to a few of them. I have not had time to talk with them.
Just as he hasn't had time, I guess.
Excuse-
Also, do you think that they would change their mind after they heard what he had to offer with your conversation last night?
I do not know if that would sway any of them or not.
So you really don't know, right?
I really, truly don't. I cannot speak for them.
Okay. That's all I have.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sue Phillips? Good evening.
Hi.
Welcome.
How are you all?
Fine.
My original concern was that once the property was zoned A1, then it would open it up to a lot of things as listed in the information. And the assurance that after, let's say the property is sold, we don't know anything can happen. Maybe 5 years down the line, maybe they need to change and go to another community or something like that. And then when that property is sold, then it still is going to be A1. And my concern is that at that point, the community loses the protection of the R1 that we have now. That's my concern.
Ms. Phillips, you understood the proffer that he said if he ever sold the property, he would petition and have it rezoned back to R1. Did you understand that in the presentation?
I did, but will that be in writing?
That's in
Yes,
the
ma'am.
proffer. Yes, ma'am.
That goes with the property.
Okay, and I understand also that there is, I don't know the legal term, but I understand that there is a procedure that can be done that would, as you say, make it go back to R1 when it's sold. There's a certain legal term for it. Okay, and in that case, you know, we could take his word that it would be only pine trees and not anything else while he owns the property. But if it's done legally, who oversees that part of it? If it's done,
I think it's stated in the proffer that he said that if the property was sold, that it would go back. He would
it would be on
zone
the
it
deed.
back to R1. Is that correct, Karen?
Yes.
No.
It would be on the deed then.
He can put it in the deed. It runs with the land as far as it's noted or documented
Right.
in the records. It goes in the file and it goes on the map, yes.
And so that would be legal.
And plus,
Yes, it is notarized.
Okay, so that would protect the community that way then.
and plus the fact that it's on the public record here.
Okay, it's okay with me. Okay.
Any questions for him? Your time is up. Thank you for coming. Is that Dawn Burton? Good evening, welcome.
My concerns are, this man came in to the neighborhood, could have bought property anywhere. He found what he liked on Meadowview Drive, even though it does butt up on River Ridge Road. And across from River Ridge Road is a farm that has been there forever. I'm 58, it's been there as long as I've been alive. We've always lived in a residential neighborhood. We have the neighborhood behind the church and the diner. You come down the road, we have West Ridge, and then you have maybe 8 to 10 houses further down the road, and that's our neighborhood. Gentleman come to me last night to speak to me about it and told me we didn't live in a neighborhood. Told me I lived on a county road. Said that, you know, he wanted to come in and tree farm. That's what he wants to do. That's fine. I don't care anything about him putting trees in. Why are we changing it to agricultural now when in 20 years was when he will be harvesting? A lot of things can happen between 15 and 20 years because as I looked it up today in Wikipedia, these long leaf pines that he is trying to grow won't be mature. It says in 15 to 20 years you thin them out so they mature. He's trying to sell pulpwood. There's 11 acres that he's going to turn into pulpwood. He has to clear cut the property back there to have enough trees to make any money off of this. I don't see where it's a cash windfall for him at this point. If he wants to buy the property and plant the trees, fine. But why can't he wait until it's time to harvest? Because most of us who are there now probably won't be alive to see him harvested. And my only problem is, why now? Why now? You want to come in, be a neighbor, be a good neighbor, fine. Plant your trees. Plant them wherever you want to. But wait till it's time to harvest before you go and change the designation in our neighborhood. And that's what I have to say about that.
Any questions? Thank you, sir. That's all the signs up. I'll give one opportunity. Anyone here that did not have opportunity to sign up, yes, sir, please come forward. Please state your name and address.
My name is Jason Miller, 95 Meadowview Drive. I live at the end of Meadowview and River Ridge.
Good evening and welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So another time in my life, I was in real estate, and people are asking why would he want to rezone to agriculture? Well, it's to save money. I mean, come on, guys. Everybody wants to save money. That's one reason. And I grew up with Darren Clement, who built a horse farm, and he went through the same thing. And you guys know that he's really close to Meadowbrook Circle. Same thing. People were worried about, value of the homes, everything going down. And in fact, it's gone up since Darren's done that. I'm 34. Randy's 34. And we are the type of people that America needs to get a future. He's got 3 kids. I've got 2 kids. Now, whether or not his word, if he doesn't do anything, or if he does do anything, that's on him. But, it's a vacant lot now. Like I said, I was in real estate. He's going to build a house, build a pond. Over on Pine Lake, my in-laws built money trees, Pine Lake. I wasn't going to call you out, but it was 12 years. They were ready to harvest. 12 years. They have it. 5 acres of pine trees. And that's going to be mine whenever my in-laws pass away, me and my wife. So I'm telling you, this is what we need in the neighborhood is young people with kids trying to make a living for a future. And with the petition, I got a phone call 3 days ago saying there was a logging company coming in, blah, blah, blah. So I signed the petition and I took my name off. My parents, I called my parents, said, sign the petition. They took their names off. I'm telling you that petition, 75 to 80%. And they ask why now? He's got 3 kids, a job, a wife. Come on, guys, time is tough, just to come out and start knocking on doors. I couldn't do that with my job. That's all I got.
Just a minute. Any questions? Thank you, sir.
Yep.
That's the last call, Mr. Owen. Will you come? You have a rebuttal. Excuse me. Hold it. No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
You've already had yours. I'm sorry, but procedure, I have to follow procedure. Come ahead, state your name and address, sir. Excuse me, Mr. Owen.
I'm James Pendry. I live 100 Meadowview, right across from Jason. And
Good evening, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. And I hadn't planned on speaking. When I first heard what was going on, first I was upset, concerned about it. My biggest concern is like I think Kathy said, is him planting trees. It's the harvesting. But at the same time, my thinking, the best solution for it, I know he wants to do it now. He says he's going to build a house within a year or 2. My suggestion is when he builds his house and he becomes a member of the neighborhood, then I'd be willing for him to sign the bill for him to get his agriculture, because then he'll be part of the neighborhood, and if anything, he's not going to mess up the neighborhood if he's going to live in it. And at this point, his word, he may be a man of his word, I don't know. I'd like to think so, and hopefully he is, but my biggest concern is why right now, at least wait a couple years until the house goes up and he's going to live there, and then I think then that solves the problem for the most part.
Any questions? Thank you, sir. Mr. Owen?
Miss Hamlet come up here and explain to y'all that she is okay with everything that I want to do, but she's still against it. I understand trying to protect everything that A1 allows. It's a lot. I understand that 100%. Those are not my intentions. I can't sit here and address every what if that will be allowed under that circumstance. I know that's the best way for me to set it up for what I want to do. When I put the signs up, they obviously have to be up for 2 weeks. When I put the signs up, we were right in that change for daylight savings time. I put the second sign up by the headlights of my truck. I wasn't going to go around to the neighbors at dark that I've never met, knocking on doors. My plans were to make a round in the neighborhood and explain what my intentions were, be on the level with everybody from the front. We had a stomach virus in our house that we fought for a week and a half. Me, my 3-year-old, my infant, my mom, my mother-in-law passed it back and forth. We couldn't get away from it. So I was unable to make it around to tell everybody. Since the other lady, 2 ladies had a petition, they split up, went different directions. The other lady I told you has already called all the numbers that she had. I spoke with Ms. Hamlet last night. I knocked on Ms. Hamlet's door Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and finally had to get the other lady to give Ms. Hamlet a call to work out a time to meet with her. Ms. Hamlet expressed to me that her biggest concern was the field in front of her house being A1. The field in front of her house is the field that I have sectioned off that I'm going to put my house that's remaining residential. The problem with waiting any longer than what I have, obviously I'm planting these trees to make a profit off of. The land that I own, the only place that it perks is the field that I have sectioned off for the house. Obviously, residential taxes versus agricultural taxes is going to knock that profit down substantially over the years paying it. I mean, every bit of it adds up. And for me to invest in the trees just to, a few years from now, be able to do this whole process again and run into the same roadblocks that I'm running today doesn't make any sense. Mr. Pendry, I explained to him that yes, he doesn't know me from anybody. I offered him, the only thing I can do is sit here and tell you what I want to do with the land. Nobody knows me. They could trust me, they could not. That's why I went ahead with the proffer this morning as a sign that, this is what I'm serious about this. This is what we want to do. Don had mentioned a few things about the road. He told me last night that, first off, me and Don had a conversation yesterday by the phone. And by the end of the phone call, he said, hey man, I'm not going to show up tomorrow night. It's your land, down on that end of the road, you do what you want to do. I said, I appreciate it. I'm going to be in the neighborhood tonight anyway, meeting with Miss Hamlet. I'll at least swing by, shake a hand, put a name with a face. When I left Miss Hamlet's house last night, I went up to Don's house. I don't know what happened between the phone call and when I got there. He was 100% against it. He proceeded to tell me that the land that I have where I'm putting the house doesn't perk. He told me that my trees weren't going to grow. He told me the septic tank that I'm going to put in wasn't going to work. I don't understand if he's this adamant against me. I'm obviously going to fail in his eyes no matter what I do. The land does have a recent perk test done before I purchased it just a couple months ago. As far as the septic tank and all that stuff, we're going to work that out with the contractor. That's what they get paid to do. I'm not a septic tank expert, but the land does perk. Yes, land is everywhere. He made that comment, farm down the road. We moved to Mebane 2011. Wife got pregnant with her first daughter. Got homesick, we come back to family and friends. My job let me transfer from Raleigh to Greensboro to where I could make the drive back in Danville. We have looked for land in this area for 6 years that would suit what we wanted to do. I work in Greensboro, my wife works at Westover Christian Academy. We were looking at Mount Cross 58 in that angle, not past Tunstall High School. I want to be able to hit the bypass to be able to get to Greensboro every day. She needs to be able to get to Westover. This area is where we've looked. It is not a ton of land for sale in this area. It's the Tunstall District. It's a desirable area. I'm not trying to come in anywhere and disturb anything. Mm-hmm. I want, get the land set up, do what I want to do. But, this is not are we arguing about a chainsaw running 15 years from now? Trees grow quietly. There's nothing I'm trying to do here disturbs anybody. The petition, just as Wally said, Ms. Hamlet explained to you guys what the petition said. The code reference to what's possible. What she doesn't tell you is what is spoken verbally while she's speaking to these people. Wally just told you what, Jason Miller, excuse me, just told you what he was told on the phone conversation. So the way the petition is sold versus what she explained to you guys is a very different thing. These are the rumors that I'm hearing from the neighbors as far as what they were told. Since I've been going around, I've had great success. The petition was originally, between the two ladies, 3 pages long. And I'm not sure what Ms. Hamlet has there. A lot of the people in that petition live in West Ridge Farms. It's a neighborhood, you know, a good ways up the street from us. Mr. Burton was one that got the certified letter. He was one that got the certified letter. His land is not adjacent to mine whatsoever. But with the county records, it was still sent to him because it was the old farm, the 32-acre farm that we had actually split up and divided. That's about all I got, fellas.
Question, what's currently on the property?
Nothing. Well,
I mean, nothing. You, literally, what's on it?
the 3.5 acres is
I'm talking about the 15 acres that you want to plant.
wooded.
It's wooded.
Every bit of it.
So has it been maintained in the past?
No, it is rough. I gotta clean all that up first. There's a lot of fallen down trees, a lot of rotten trees, a lot of saplings, a lot of useless stuff.
No hardwoods to speak of.
There are a few hardwoods, and I would leave the healthy hardwoods that are there. I'm not gonna cut down a tree that's worth more money, even if it costs me 4 pine trees, to leave one good standing hardwood tree. There's a retirement home that butts up behind the land. I wanna leave a buffer zone. One guy was concerned about that. I told him I didn't wanna see him, he didn't need to see me. I'll leave a buffer zone. He was worried about the noise and things with his people there, and he was happy about the buffer zone in between me and him, our property. It pretty much runs the entire length. His driveway to the nursing home is the entire back boundary of the property. The small field on Meadowview, if you look at the map, already has plenty of pines on the backside of that small field.
Okay. That's
Who's
all.
got the property?
Dr. Miller, you got the property, or
Property down
Kathy's
here.
got it?
Just a minute, Mr.
As far as the trailer park, the land that I'm discussing doesn't perk. You can't put a trailer park if the land, as far as the septic tank systems. I think I mentioned earlier that the only part that perks is that section there.
It's no building at all, no type of building at all on the property, is
No,
that
sir,
correct?
not at all.
Yep, any question?
Yeah,
Mr. Hammond?
Randy,
Yes, sir.
I've had received some telephone calls, and then I've had some reverse telephone calls, I guess, and I didn't understand the reverse. Now I understand the reverse phone calls, I guess, after they were assured of what was going on. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
The calls that I got were concerned about mobile homes, double wides, and that type thing. Yeah, would you put in the proffer also that there will be no mobile homes or double wides on this property?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
All right.
Like I said, the land, when I separated the front field from the rest of the 15 acres, there is a small spot that perks on paper. It is suitable for a single bathroom home with an elaborate septic tank system that it would cost more in the septic system than it would for the home. It's there, it satisfies the subdivision rules, but it also is extremely impractical. Other than that, there is no other perk spot anywhere that they have found on the property. Either the front field, where I'm gonna put, I have one spot in that front field. So 20 acres, one suitable perk spot. As far as I know, the neighborhood has restrictions anyway as far as the mobile homes go. I'm assuming, I think I remember reading that when we bought the land. A mobile home in this area wouldn't fit in at all.
Okay.
I think if you put the language of, you're not gonna be placing a mobile home on there, and also state that, you're gonna be planting pines on 15 acres. I think that would probably, probably help, so.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
At 7:39, case R19-012 is closed to public hearing. Any discussions? If not, motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I was told when I agreed to sit on this commission that it would be some hard days and some tough decisions to be made.
And after 2 years, I think I've got the one that's, no question about it, that's troubled me the most. But first of all, I've known Randy since the day he was born. He lived within about 200 yards of me for I don't know how long. One of the finest young men that I've ever met. And I just think that that his word is his bond, and with the profit that he's agreed to make, that a part of it is already here, that there will absolutely be no mobile homes or double wides, which he says the restrictions are already on that. I'm not aware of that. And the fact that he would, if he gets ready to sell the property, that he will have it changed back to A1. R1, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me.
I'm looking at
Correction.
to A1. So based on that, Mr. Chairman, in case number R19-012, I move that we recommend to the Board of Supervisors that it be rezoned from R1 to A1.
Second.
Who's second?
Dr. Miller?
Dr. Miller. Motion by Mr. Haymore, second by Dr. Miller, to recommend to the Board of Supervisors the zoning be changed from R1 to A1. Any discussions? If not, Ms. Hayes, will you call the roll for the vote?
Dr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Mr. Haymore?
Yes.
Ms. Henderson?
Yes.
Ms. Meese?
Yes.
Mr. Stowe?
No.
Mr. Dudley?
Yes.
Mr. Motley?
Yes.
That's 7-4, 1 against.
Yep.
Case R19-012 is motion to recommend to the Board of Supervisors the zoning be changed from R1 to A1 by vote of 7 for, 1 against. At 7:42, case R19-013 is open to public hearing. Ms. Hayes.
Case R19-013, Henry Reynolds has petitioned to rezone 3.46 acres located off Highway 41 in the Tunstall Election District from R1 Residential Suburban Subdivision District to A1 Agricultural District to make the zoning consistent with his farm. Once the property is rezoned to A1, all uses listed under Section 35-178 are permitted. The staff summary is enclosed in the board packet. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Reynolds is here to represent the petition.
Mr. Reynolds,
No.
will you come forward, please? Good evening and welcome. Do you have anything you'd like to present to the commissioners other than what Ms. Hayes has already presented?
I just wanted with the rest of the farm.
Any questions? No one is signed up, so speak against this. Any question? Thank you, sir. At 7:43, case R19-013 is closed to public hearing. Mr. Stowe.
I make a motion that we make this change. I went up and sat down with him and talked with him and looked at the property. He's trying to put the farm back together, where it really was. It's off the road, the middle of a stock picking cow pasture. So,
Right.
it's no problem. I make a motion that we recommend this request to the Board of Supervisors.
Second the motion.
Motion by Mr. Stowe, second by Mr. Horn to recommend to the Board of Supervisors zoning be changed from R1 to A1. Any discussions? Ms. Hayes, will you call the roll for the vote?
Mr. Motley?
Yes.
Mr. Dudley?
Yes.
Mr. Stowe?
Yes.
Ms. Meese?
Yes.
Ms. Henderson?
Yes.
Mr. Haymore?
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Dr. Miller?
Yes.
That's 8.
Case R19-013 is recommended to the Board of Supervisors. The zoning be changed from R1 to A1 by the vote of 8 for, 0 against. Thank you, Mr. Reynolds.
Thank you.
At 7:44, I turn to case R19-014 is open to public hearing. Ms. Hayes.
Case R 19-014, Jasmine Barbie has petitioned to rezone 3.77 acres located on Cascade Road in the Tunstall Election District from R1 Residential Suburban Subdivision District to A1 Agricultural District for subdivision of the property for family. Once the property is rezoned to A1, all uses listed under Section 35-178 are permitted. The staff summary is enclosed in the board packet. Mr. Chairman, Ms. Barbie is here to represent the petition.
Ms. Bobby?
And we have a revised map. That's what the revised map is for. It highlighted that one section that is A1, actually.
Ms. Bobby? Or Mr. Bobby?
I do not see her here.
Okay. Anyone here wish to represent this case? No one has signed up. At 7:45, case R 19-014 is closed to public hearing. Mr. Stokes.
Mr. Chairman, I've been over there several times, rode up and down the road, I couldn't find that sign. It may be up to date, but I couldn't find it. Did by mileage with what the map said, everything. Never have found a sign exactly where the property is. So there's no one here to represent it. And, I couldn't find nobody to tell me anything. So, instead I make a motion that we do not recommend this request to the Board of Supervisors.
Motion by Mr. Stowe to recommend to the supervisors they deny this request. Is a second?
I don't mind second, but we got to do something with it, hadn't we?
Yes, sir. We'll have a motion too.
I second.
Second by Mr. Haymore. Any discussions?
It's, if my
Can-
mileage and things are right, it's a nice property here. You know, and I could be wrong, because like I said, I couldn't find a sign. I found one, I went looking for a sign. It was nailed up in a tree, 15 feet, one day. But, there's some nice houses
Question,
down this road.
Mr. Horn.
could we vote on a continuance versus just flat denying it? Since there's no
Well,
one
you
here.
could make a recommendation to deny it. I could contact her or try to contact her and let her know what's involved if she wants to pursue it to the Board of
It's
Supervisors.
A1 land bordering it
Yeah,
in the back and on the side.
it's in the back, in the back of it.
I mean, any one of several things could have happened.
That's
Reasons
right.
she's not here tonight.
That's right.
Correct.
Or the sign could have, I'm just saying, could we, rather than just flat,
You can just take no action on it, and it sits with them for up to 60 days. And that time, Ms. Hayes can try to track this person down and find out what the heck's going on.
Would that make you happy, Mr. Stowe?
That works for me.
To delay, just,
You want to change the motion?
could you want to change your motion just to, delay it 30 days?
I make a motion, then we.
They just make no action?
Just take no action.
I make a
just
motion to
move
take no
forward.
action.
You've already had a public hearing, state code says that you have up to 60 days to do something with something, and if you don't within that 60 days, it's automatically
Right.
deemed approved to the board. So that'll give you a window to try to investigate.
You agree with that, Mr. Haymore?
Yes, sir, I second that motion. I was looking for something, I didn't want to throw them to the wolves.
Motion by
I was
Mr.
wondering,
Stowe, second by Mr. Haymore, that we take no action, any discussion to not call your roll, Ms.
Do we
Hayes.
call the roll?
Yeah, you need to call roll, and then
Yes.
you can bring this back under old business at the appropriate time.
Okay.
You've already held it,
Right. That's what,
advertised.
Mr. Motley?
yes.
Mr. Dudley?
yes,
Mr. Stowe?
Yes.
Ms. Meese?
Yes.
Ms. Henderson?
Yes.
Mr. Haymore?
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
yes?
Dr. Miller?
Yes.
Case R 19-014 is, voted, 8-4-0 against to take no action. At 7:49, case V 19-001 is open to public hearing. Ms. Hayes.
Case V 19-001, July Incorporated has petitioned for a variance of 25 feet to the required 35-foot setback on .84 of an acre off of Lotus Drive, the side of Lotus Drive, The property is located in the Callens-Gretna election district to allow for placement of a canopy over the existing gas pumps. I spoke to Jay Craddock, and he has no issues as far as a VDOT standpoint. The staff summary is enclosed in the board packet, Mr. Chairman. Tim Davis is here to represent the petition.
Mr. Davis, good evening and welcome.
Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Tim Davis. I'm Director of Dealer Services for Davenport Energy here in Chatham. We're a branded wholesaler for Exxon, Marathon, Citgo, Gulf, and BP. And what we'd like to do, we've been a long-time gasoline supplier to this convenience store, One Stop. They're in Gretna on Route 40 at Lotus Drive, right across from the Exxon. And what we'd like to do is brand this store Marathon, but one of the requirements that Marathon has is that we have a gasoline dispenser that is not covered by a canopy. We have one that is covered and we have one that isn't. So what we'd like to do is install a second canopy, install new dispensers, and rebrand this store to a nicer image. And to do that, we need a variance for the property setback. We're looking at investing probably about $150,000 in this location. Mr. and Mrs. Patel, who are the property owners and own the convenience store, a longtime business people here in the county. They also own the Exxon property across the street. So they're good folks. They do a lot of contributions to the community. So that's sort of what we're asking for. We'd like to improve the property, improve the lighting on the property. The second canopy will have, of course, LED downlights, provide a cover for the gas pump when customers are in the rain or inclement weather. And, we're also trying to increase their competition or make them more competitive in that with the other businesses in the area. So they've made a lot of improvements to the inside of the store. So we're looking to partner with them to improve the petroleum equipment there and make a better location for Gretna and for the county. So be happy to answer any questions or.
Mr. Davis, do you have any idea when this building, how long it's been in the
It's been there since, well, I've been here for 40 years. It was there when I came. Bill Foster ran a convenience store, sold it to a subsidiary of Davenport Energy maybe 7, 8, 10 years ago, and then we sold the property to the Patels. So it's been there. It's been a convenience store all along. We've made some improvements there, but this particular gasoline dispenser and island is to the right if you face the property, and then Lotus Drive comes up to the side. So we'd like to, like I said, we'd like to brand it, make it a nicer looking location, but all the brands require a canopy over all the gasoline dispensers that we're going to put a brand on. So we already have the one canopy, we would rebrand that, and we'd build a new canopy, brand that Marathon, and put new dispensers in. And
so basically this is grandfathered in, is that right, Ms. Hayes, except just it doesn't have a cover over it?
Right, the canopy is considered a new structure, so the new structure is not meeting the required setbacks.
But VDOT says it meets their.
They said they do not care as long as it's not over the right-of-way, and it will not be. It'll be
Right.
10 foot off.
yeah, we just can't meet the property setback that the county has in place.
Any other questions? No one signed up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone here wish to address this? If not, it's 7:54. Case V 19-001 is closed to public hearing.
Mr. Motley, this is in my district. I patronize this store probably every day or every other day. I'm delighted that they're going to upgrade it. The visibility of the canopy will certainly enhance the building. We look to VDOT for advice if they have no issues with it and everything is intact. It will also be a tax base for our county, and I know that all the Gretna residents, the Callens-Gretna residents, and all those people traveling to Smith Mountain Lake would love to have that canopy when it's raining. So therefore, in case V-19-001. I make a recommendation to the Board of Zoning Appeals that we honor this request.
I second that motion.
Motion by Ms. Meese, second by Mr. Dudley. We recommend to the Board of Zoning Appeals to allow this variance. Any discussions? If not, Ms. Hayes, will you call the roll?
Mr. Motley?
Yes.
Mr. Dudley?
Yes.
Mr. Stowe?
Yes.
Ms. Meese?
Yes.
Ms. Henderson?
Yes.
Mr. Haymore?
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Dr. Miller?
Yes.
Say cool.
Case V 19-001, recommended to the Board of Zoning Appeals to recommend this variance by the vote of 8-4, 0 against. Old business. Ms. No
We
old-
have the, site plan
Yeah.
for the Danville Solar,
Yeah,
and they are here. If
Oh.
you have any questions.
okay, Danville Solar Farm. I guess y'all all got a copy where nobody could read, I'm sure. 8.5 by 11 site plan, to kind of embarrassing in a way that
Yes.
want us to approve.
If y'all would come on up.
It,
Can't remember all the names, sorry.
Got some full size if you'd prefer.
do you have any questions about the site plan?
They pretty much.
I did meet with him, and he,
My name
changed
is,
it where the trees would be 4 to 6 feet in height, that planting.
My name is
That
Brent
was one of my
Neiman. I'm the Director of Civil Engineering at Strata Solar. We're developing and constructing facility. What you just spoke about on the tree heights actually is in the proffers already. It's at a minimum of 6 foot for any planted material.
Sir, let me ask you this. Do you know what the tree heights was of the property down at Dan River?
Which property would that be, sir?
The solar system, I know y'all are not involved in that one. Have
I
you
don't.
seen that?
No, I'm not familiar with
Okay.
it. I've heard that it was
It slipped through the cracks, HF.
Yes, sir.
somewhat inadequate, is what I heard.
Yes, it is in the plan that they will be 4 to 6 feet in height at planting.
The plan in front of you is exactly what we represented previously to this board and to the Board of Supervisors. So nothing's changed in that regard. We're not offering any changes, or we're sticking to the plan, which was a mix of maintaining existing vegetation that's there, as well as planting some low-growing turf adjacent to the property owners there on the west-hand side of the property. So it would have that maintained look, which was a big deal for them. And as well as the planting of the trees would be the supplemental buffer where there's not adequate screening already in place. We've identified a couple of those places already on the site plan, and obviously,
Do you have a plan?
I have a large version of just the buffer plan, just that western side that was submitted to DEQ as part of the current by rule process. It's in color as well. That would be the plan. Yes, ma'am.
No.
That's just a blow up of that western
Not
side.
offered any change. They just let us see the updated site.
So this is identical to the we called it in the presentation previously the buffer and vegetation maintenance plan. We also offer some areas between the facility and the buffer that would be a pollinator species as well. That's maintained a couple times a year, but would encourage pollinator habitat as well.
This is not a public hearing, so all we need to do is bless what there's no change to what
Actually, we've already blessed it.
we've already blessed. I mean, and that, as Mr. Horn said.
We just came to say hello again.
Thank you. HF, I can tell you, the only site on that entire property that would be able to see the solar panels would be the house on Tom Fork Road that currently looks at the number 13 green. Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to see it.
Is that right?
Thank you. I've seen it. I've been there.
Okay, what do you need, a vote on this? If
We don't need
approve
anything.
it? We don't need anything.
No, just we said that we'd bring them back before y'all so you could see that.
We give them
Yep.
they'd have our blessing. They already do.
Any questions? If not, thank you for being nice enough to do this.
No problem.
Thank you,
We're
sir.
glad to be here.
Yes,
Thanks for
sir.
having us.
New business, revision to the Pittsylvania County zoning orders. Now, this, we do have a public hearing on this, right?
Yes, we would need a recommendation to the Board of
At
Supervisors.
8 p.m. The motion for the Pennsylvania County zoning ordinance change is open to public hearing. No one has signed up for it to speak. Anyone here wish to speak on it? Any discussions? If not, we need a motion. And I think it's already wrote out for us to, on section 35-50, under the exemptions, item number 4. You want, Mr. Vice Chairman, you want to read that? That's the way the motion, I think, is. If nobody has no discussions, at 8:01, the public hearing's closed. And
The motion's on page 2, in that top paragraph in quotes right here. You just wanna read
You said page 2?
page 2 of Greg, Mr.
Gotcha.
Side's memo, the top paragraph, last.
I make a motion.
Motion recommended.
Paragraph on page 2. I make a motion.
Let's see.
That's page 2.
Wrong one.
here you go.
I'm gonna help him out here.
No, this is from Karen.
I make a
That's the wrong one. Yep, look. Right
Yeah, I
here.
don't even have it.
I'll make a motion recommending.
Okay, I got
proposed
you.
amendments.
All right, you ready? Let's do this. I make a motion recommending that the proposed amendments to section 35-50 of the Pittsylvania County zoning ordinance be referred to the Pittsylvania County Planning Commission for a public hearing at their April 2nd, 2019 meeting, and authorizing county staff to advertise the attached proposed revisions to Pittsylvania County Code Section 35-50 for a public hearing for potential adoption at the April 16th, 2019 Board of Supervisors business meeting.
Motion by Mr. Dudley, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Haymore, any discussion? If not, Ms. Hayes, will you call the roll?
Dr. Miller?
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Mr. Haymore?
Yes.
Ms. Henderson?
Yes.
Ms. Meese?
Yes.
Mr. Stowe?
Yes.
Mr. Dudley?
Yes.
Mr. Motley?
Yes.
Faithful.
Any other business? If not, 8:02, meeting's adjourned.